Good afternoon and welcome to the IACAC Virtual College Exploration webinar for all Illinois students. As a reminder, you have the opportunity to sign up for more sessions at www.iacac.org, and this session is being recorded and will be available later through the IACAC website. As a student attendee, your camera and video are off, but you are able to ask questions and answers through the Q&A session. And at this time, I will turn it over to our presenter.
Awesome, thank you so much. Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Dooley and I work at the School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI. Now today I'm going to talk to you about the programs we have to offer, but also about the larger university we are part of called IUPUI. Now if you've never heard of us before, we are a large public university in the heart of Indiana in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Now we are a pretty unique university. First of all, we have a long name, IUPUI. It's also a palindrome, it's the same forwards and backwards. But that name stands for Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. So we're actually a collaboration between two universities in a third location. Our students are our own IUPUI students. You take all of your classes on our campus, you can live on our campus. We have our own Division I athletics, the IUPUI Jaguars. You just don't receive an IUPUI degree. You get either an IU or a Purdue degree depending on your major. And you aren't stuck in an IU or Purdue track when you're one of our students. You can often double major, graduate with both an IU and a Purdue diploma, get a Purdue degree with an IU minor. There are lots of combinations out there. We like to say that we are the best of three worlds, IU, Purdue, and then the city of Indianapolis. I'm going to skip this video for now, and here is a slide with a lot of numbers on it. But the big takeaway I want you to get from this is that we are a pretty big university. We have about 30,000 students who come to school on our campus. We welcome about 4,000 freshmen each year. We have over 500 student organizations, close to 500 majors to choose from. So there's lots of opportunities and different things to take advantage of on our campus. But today, I'm not here to talk to you about everything IUPUI. I'm here to talk to you about a specific program, the School of Informatics and Computing, what our majors are, and what career opportunities are out there for you. So, as you can see on the slide, we are the IU School of Informatics and Computing, meaning that when you major in one of our majors, you will be receiving that Indiana University diploma. Now, often I get asked, what is informatics? I've heard of computer engineering, computer science, but I've never heard of this term informatics before. So let me talk about it. Our friends who do computer engineering, they're often focused on engineering, the hardware, making computers as machines run well, efficiently, all that actual engineering that makes them do the tasks we want them to do. Our friends in computer science, they are studying the theory behind programming languages, software, teaching computers to think, and then through how they think to do all the tasks we want them to do. In informatics, we kind of marry those things and then we go one step further. We really focus on how humans and technology connect. So we are focused on UX and UI, user experiences and user interfaces, and human-centered computing, human-centered design, and really that user-centered design. And what that means is that our students, no matter which major they choose, they're going to get a solid background in design thinking. So really designing software, apps, technology, devices to make sense if you gave them to anyone off the street. Is it intuitive to use? Does it make sense? Do the colors mean good or bad, or make sense how you're supposed to progress to the next page? So all of our students are really grounded in that thinking, and those are skill sets that employers are really looking for right now. There's a lot of people out there who can code, but if you can really design well and design in a way that makes sense, you're going to be earning a lot of money in your career. So this slide has a lot of numbers on it, but the big takeaway from this slide is that we are a very career-focused program. We're proud to say that 87% of our students have a job at graduation. Our average graduate is making about $54,000 right out of college. There's almost 100 companies that have hired our students either as interns while they're students or full-time jobs after they graduate. And if you are unfamiliar with Indianapolis, we are a big rising tech city. Salesforce, if you ever heard of them, they actually have their headquarters here in downtown Indianapolis. So there's a lot of tech companies nearby that are hiring our students. One important thing that I did not mention, but I should have mentioned previously, is that IUPUI offers a significant discount for Illinois students. We're a part of something called the Midwest Student Exchange Program, meaning that if you are a resident of a nearby Midwest state, including Illinois, you can get 55% off of out-of-state tuition. So normally out-of-state tuition is about $30,000 for out-of-state students. Through the MSEP program, Illinois students pay about $14,000 a year for tuition. So it's about $7,000 per semester. I meant to mention that earlier, but something to keep in mind because we're a very affordable out-of-state option. So this is about us generally as a school. But next I want to talk to you about our majors that you have to choose from. And before I get into all those things, I want to show you a short video that further goes into how we define informatics in our programs.
A way to connect people and information.
It was XML, it was HTML.
Oh, I think it's connections. Informatics is the future. The future.
I apologize, it's loading here for me.
It is technology, it is media, it is everything that you see on the internet, it's everything pervasive.
Connects people, connects technology, it connects information. The window to the future. It's something that is here, is necessary.
We need somebody that can touch on some 3D and can do some video and possibly make a website for us.
Take the data and to make sense of it and to use it to kind of improve our life and people's lives.
It's a way to connect people with ideas and technology.
So that's a little bit more about how we define informatics at our school. And you actually got to see some examples of student work in that video that we love to show off to people. Now let me get back to the screen I was at. Okay, awesome. So I mentioned we have 5 undergraduate programs. Now at first glance, these may all seem very unrelated to one another, but it's really that concept of informatics, that user-centered design that underpins all of these things together. There's me 2 programs, Informatics and Applied Data Information Science, that will touch on topics that if you've ever taken a computer science class will be very familiar to you. We have 2 programs, Health Information Management and Biomedical Informatics, that are related to the healthcare field. Then we have Media Arts and Science, which is an extremely creative program that has tracks in 3D graphics and animation, game design, video production, web design, and more. And I'm going to get into all of these here in a moment. So the first 2 majors I'm going to talk to you about are Informatics and Applied Data Information Science. Now, informatics is our namesake program, and this is a very broad program because our students are learning about that concept of informatics. They're also getting a background in coding. They're going to be taking programming courses, and then they are required to choose a specialization. So to apply the know-how with programming and this design thinking to a specific area so they can really build their portfolio of projects they've worked on and become an expert of applying this to a specific area. So we will see a lot of students who major in informatics and specialize in business, who want to go into business analytics, who want to help make websites for businesses, do database management for businesses, and all that marketing analytics that businesses need right now. So this is a major that if you have a passion and you also have a passion for technology, you can really pursue what you're most interested in through this lens of informatics. So it's a highly customizable program, but you're still going to get those basic skills in programming and design thinking, but applying that in a specific area. Now I'm going to show you another video. I'm going to mute this and talk over it. It shows some wonderful examples of what our students are actually doing in this program. So this first example is one of our students named Kyle. He did an internship with a company in Indianapolis called Cluster Truck. They're a food delivery service. He helped them design the web app that you use to order food, and then he did all the design of that, some of the back-end stuff, and also helped them with the data analytics around that, analyzing what are their most popular items, and then therefore which supplies do they need to order at which time of the day, so helping them manage their business through data. Now this is a really cool example that a team of students and our faculty worked on as a research project. This project created an alternate keyboard for those who are blind and visually impaired. So it's actually a completely radical approach to a keyboard. Instead of something in front of you that has maybe Braille letters on it, it is a bracelet, an armlet that you wear. You hear letters at a high pace in your ear, and then you move your hand to then type, to gesture, to get at that letter that you want to get. So a complete reimagining of accessing the internet for people who are blind, taking their unique skills into mind. Now the following example is going to illustrate several concepts that I briefly mentioned. So our students are studying device design, making sure it makes sense to the user, that all those colors and symbols actually mean something and aren't confusing, and that it fits well wherever it's going to be. Our students are also studying something called IoT, the Internet of Things, how all of our devices connect to one another, talk to each other, seamlessly share data amongst each other, so that they are doing the tasks that we expect them to do in our lives, and that they're actually something that's useful, not cumbersome and burdensome. So our students are studying all of these different concepts and really analyzing how are we using technology in our daily lives today. So that is some work from our informatics program. Now for each major I'm going to talk about, there's going to be a slide like this with a lot of words on it, but I think the most important thing here are the numbers at the bottom. So I mentioned we're a very career-focused program, and for each major I'll have data like this. You can see for our informatics students, about 92% of them have a job at graduation, so they are highly in demand. They're often making about $55,000 right at graduation. Here are some of the top companies that are hiring our students, and here you can see job titles they're getting, like data analyst, UX analyst, application consultant, so they're having titles all across the board. Now the second major I want to talk to you about is our Applied Data and Information Science program. If you love data, like being handed an Excel spreadsheet full of numbers and being told to make sense of it, to manipulate it, I recommend taking a look at this program. It offers two specializations. It offers a specialization in applied data science. This is going to be a little bit harder in math. You're going to take more math, statistics, and calculus, but you're really going to become an expert at making sense of data, learning how to manipulate it, how to derive meaning from it, get insights from a big data set. You're going to learn how to visualize data and really manipulate it for all the purposes we use data in today's world. And if you didn't know, every single organization, company, industry relies on people who can interpret data to help them make different decisions in how they will run their business, what next actions to take. So everyone needs someone who is a data guru. Now the second specialization is applied information science. This is a little bit less heavy on the math side, but is really focusing on all these other things surrounding data in today's world, like this data life cycle. Like, where are we sourcing our data from? Are we sourcing it from a place where we can trust that data, that it's actually true and valid information? How are we storing it? Are we storing it in a way that makes sense, where it's safe, it's not going to be breached and exposed to people who might be trying to get into it? Are we storing it in a way that people can access it easily for whatever purposes they're accessing it for? And how are we using this data? Are we using it in ways that are ethical, and ways that we have consent to use it from whoever we got this data from? And then how are we purging data when we no longer need it and getting rid of it in a safe way? So really studying all these things, or how we're managing data in today's world. I'm going to skip over this video. But here you can see that this is a newer program. We've launched this in the past 2 years because of demand of local companies. So these numbers are from our graduate program, which is a little bit older. Of our graduate students, about 94% have a job at graduation. They're making almost $80,000 right out of college. And they're getting titles like data analyst, data scientist, and working for big companies like Salesforce, Infosys, Genesys, and more. Now I want to take a moment and talk to you about our healthcare related programs. Now the first one is Biomedical Informatics. This program, you're going to be taking programming classes alongside biology and chemistry courses. This program is teaching you how to use machine learning, artificial intelligence, complex databases and algorithms to make sense of medical research. So if a company wants to start doing research around introducing a new drug to fight cancer, that can often take decades of clinical research to test it over and over and over and over again. But with the tools that we have now, companies are often creating sophisticated machine learning tools that can really do that research at a much quicker pace and find connections in that research that human scientists aren't always able to see. So people who are learning these skills are actually helping drive where medical research is currently going, if that makes sense. This can often be a confusing major to explain. But if you like coding and programming, but you also like biology and chemistry and think you might want to be a doctor one day, this route has a pre-med option. And our campus is actually home. There's 5 hospitals near our campus. We also have the largest school of medicine at IUPUI, the IU School of Medicine. So we're a great location to land if you're interested in something medical but don't know exactly what you want to do. Now, this is also a new major that we started to offer in the past couple years because of demand from local companies. So these are also numbers from our graduate program. 100% of our graduate students have a job at graduation. They're making about $71,000, and they're getting job titles like Bioinformatics Scientist, Biomedical Data Scientist, and getting jobs with hospitals and companies like Lilly Pharmaceuticals. Now, the second major I want to talk about that's healthcare related is health information management. Now, they're going to be taking less biology and chemistry courses because this major is focused on combining law, information technology, business practices, healthcare management to help hospitals manage all of the complex data that they are responsible for managing. So all that critical private data that you give hospitals when you just fill out that form, when you check in, your social security number, your insurance information, your medical history, there's a lot of laws and regulations out there that regulate how that data can be used and stored. So folks in this program are learning how to be those professionals who are going to work in hospitals to help make sense of all of that. They also work on medical billing and coding, which is its own complex system of rules and regulations. So our faculty in this program say that if you like to solve problems, you love being handed an issue and it's your job to make it function, and if you want to help people, are interested in healthcare, but maybe are not interested at all with working with patients, this would be a great area for you to look into. So here's some more career information. These students, about 82% of them have a job at graduation. They're making about $43,000 right out of the gate. A lot of the local hospitals are hiring these students, and they're getting jobs like privacy officer, medical coder, data coordinator, and more. Now, the last major I'm going to talk to you guys about is our Media Arts and Science program. Now, this is a beast of a program because there are many, many things you can do in this major. So this program is very creative. Our students are learning how to use emerging digital technologies to communicate things in a digital realm, whether that's visually, through art and animation, whether that's through games and virtual reality, videos, sound design, web, and more. So really learning all of this digital media that is being used in every aspect of our lives right now. This program has 5 specializations. I'm going to go through each one and explain them a little bit, but we see a lot of students who have interest in these specializations because they want to get into entertainment. They want to work for a AAA game studio for Disney and Pixar, and a lot of our graduates are able to break into those industries, but we also see our graduates who are being able to apply these skills for more serious purposes, as we like to say. So we have folks who study game design who get jobs creating virtual reality training simulations for the military or for different companies to large organizations. So there's a lot of applications of these skills that you may not have thought of, but are still in huge demand in today's world. So the 5 specializations in this area, the first one is 3D graphics and animation. You will be learning how to use the current software that's being used in the industry like Maya, ZBrush, Blender, a few other ones to really do 3D animation, to do 3D modeling, rigging, and this has applications in the entertainment world. We've had graduates go on and work at Pixar, Disney. One of our graduates was an animator for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We've had graduates work on Marvel films, so definitely huge applications in that area. We also have students who work for architecture firms, doing 3D modeling and printing of prosthetics, so a lot of different areas you can go into. Then the second specialization is game design and development. So this is going to force you to go into either the design side of things, so the art side of video games, creating those assets, character design, environment design, level design, or going to the development side of things, the programming side, learning how to use those game engines like Unreal, Unity, and then doing a lot of play testing. So devising a new mechanic for your game, and then testing it over and over and over again, and getting feedback from players and watching them play, and then making adjustments to your game over time to make it just a better product. And as I mentioned earlier, this has serious game applications. One of our graduates last year, his final project was he created a VR training simulation for coal miners that taught you how to escape a collapsed mine. And it was really cool. He had actually himself been a coal miner for about 15 years, came back to school, had a passion, and created just an amazing product that taught you how to check the air temperature, how to check for other miners and how to rescue them, how to remove debris. It was a really, really cool product. Then the third specialization here is video production and sound design. Think of this as a film and sound design program. You're going to be taking classes in documentary filmmaking, narrative filmmaking, lighting classes, sound design classes, directorial analysis courses. We have students in this program who've gone on to work for music videos, do commercials, video for all sorts of companies, do sound mixing for video games, movies. So lots of applications of this as well. Then the fourth specialization here is web design and development. It's what it sounds like. You're either going to focus on the front end, the design, so working on how websites look, whether they're user-friendly, they make sense, or the back end, the development, the programming, coding, making sure it runs well in different browsers, on your phone, on desktop, on a Kindle, on a BlackBerry, whatever kind of device you're trying to access this website from. And then our fifth specialization is something called digital storytelling. We also like to refer to this as digital marketing. You're going to learn how to tell stories through digital means, whether that's in entertainment, like storyboarding, webcomics, or whether that's through marketing, helping companies tell their story through social media, websites, using all these digital media pieces. And then this last bullet point here, we offer a dual degree program where you can double major in informatics and media arts and science and get that full stack developer skill set. And that's the front end, the design, and the back end, the programming combined. And students with both those skill sets are sometimes making about $100,000 at graduation. So that's definitely something that's highly in demand. So I've talked at you a ton, so I'm going to show you a video. And I'm going to again talk over this video. But this has some real examples of work our students have done in the Media Arts and Science program. So I mentioned earlier that our 3D students are getting jobs in all sorts of industries. This is an example of one of our students who is working on a project for the Air Force, so 3D modeling planes they're using in 3D spaces to do a lot of testing. So that's saving a lot of money by not doing that testing on them in real life, being able to simulate flight patterns, air resistance, all these things in a 3D world. This is an example of one of our students in digital storytelling working on an advertising piece for an art museum in Indianapolis. Indianapolis has a lot of museums that are located near our campus, so we see a lot of students get internships there. This is an example of another 3D student doing an internship, doing 3D scanning of artifacts for a museum, and then creating a virtual reality museum space where you can interact with those objects, and those are often objects they just don't have room to display. And then virtual reality is a big thing in all of our programs. It's really the future of where a lot of things are going. This is an example of one of our labs where you have VR technology, but also AR, augmented reality, where you have these fans and heat lamps that are making that a more immersive experience. And then this is an example of another one of our 3D students who used her 3D modeling and printing skills to create educational tools for doctors to use in doctors' offices. So being able to 3D print an example of your internal organ that a doctor can print and then show you exactly what an upcoming surgery is actually going to do. So explaining an actual medical issue you're having using a custom printed model of your organ. And then this is a great example of our web design program. So those concepts front end that I mentioned and back end. So front end, that design, how it actually looks, what people are seeing, and then that back end, the actual coding, programming, the languages that are making this thing function and function well. And that other term I use, full stack, that's both of these things combined. And then this is another one of our 3D students who actually just got a job with Rockstar Games. She really focused on becoming an expert at doing environments, lighting, all of the ambiance that you see in video games that really lends the mood and also helps communicate the story, but through all of the environment that you're experiencing. So she had a lot of really incredible work in her portfolio before graduating. And then this is examples of some of the work that our video production and sound design students have done. Now, if you have skills in video and sound, you are going to be in demand by every company organization out there, especially now in our very digital world. We need people who can produce high quality shorts for social media, for YouTube, promotional pieces, training pieces, informational pieces. So there's always going to be a demand for those skill sets. So that is a little bit of our media arts and science students. Now this page has some example of research being done in this area, but also career information. So for our media arts and science students, about 85% of them are employed at graduation. They're making about $65,000 right out of the gate. Some companies that have hired them include PlayStation, Pixar, Raytheon. They're getting jobs like animator, VR, military simulations, concept artist, game developer. So a lot of different opportunities out there. Now, a big thing for our students who are interested in breaking into entertainment, a lot of those jobs, truthfully, are on the West Coast. They're in California. Some are starting to pop up in Atlanta, Chicago, in Canada, Montreal, some in Toronto. So we really encourage our students to get out there. We are going to teach you the skills you need here in the Midwest at a much lower cost than going to the coast, but we are going to expose you and help you network as much as possible while you're here so you can get that job on the coast or where these jobs are currently existing. So we have an internship program called Hoosiers in Hollywood. Indiana, we call ourselves Hoosiers, where we help place you with an internship out in California. We also have alumni who work at Pixar, PlayStation, EA, come back all the time and do talks with our students. That's actually a lot easier to do now that they can just zoom in and talk with our students. All of our students must take a careers class before they graduate, where you really beef up your LinkedIn, work on your portfolio, and make sure that you know what you need to be doing to land that first job after graduation. So those are all the majors I have to talk about today, but I want to talk about some other cool things we have to offer. So for every major I just mentioned, we offer a built-in program where you can earn your bachelor's degree, that 4-year degree, and your master's degree, that advanced 2-year degree, within 5 years. This is a great way to save some time and money. You're charged a lower rate this entire time versus the graduate rate for the grad courses you're taking. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to come out ahead of your peers and often sometimes doubling your earning potential when you graduate. So we have multiple options built in for every single one of our undergraduate majors. Here are just some examples of tracks you can go through. But I highly recommend looking and seeing if the colleges you're currently looking at offer things like this. So that's all the wonderful stuff about our program. Now let me talk to you about how do you then become a student and actually experience all this for yourself. So let's talk about getting admitted. For my seniors, this is probably something that's on your mind right now. So you can actually apply to IUPUI for fall 2021 right now. We are on 2 different applications. You can apply using the Common App or our own application called the Apply IU application. You can find both on our website. Our application is open now. I recommend applying by November 1st. That is not a hard deadline, but it will set you up for success with our competitive scholarships on campus. You do have until May of your senior year to submit your application for consideration. Something about us is that we are test optional for the first time this fall, and this is a decision we made long before COVID. So we're glad that we made that decision now, because I know many of you are unable to take tests right now. So what this means is that if you do have a test score that you're really proud of, go ahead and submit it. It can only help you. But we will also consider you for admission based off of your high school GPA and your high school courses that you've taken, and that's it. So you have some options there in how you would like us to consider you. Now, we are pretty open at IUPUI about what it takes to get admitted. You can be admitted to IUPUI generally and then pre your major, or you can be directly admitted to your program of choice. Here in the second section, you can see the direct admittance requirements for our program. So if you have a high school GPA of a 3.0, you will be directly admitted to most of our programs. For our healthcare related majors, you need a 3.2 GPA. And something else to note is that we do accept weighted GPA for these numbers. Now, things to note. Once you apply, you'll hear back from us in about 6 to 8 weeks with your decision. There is a $65 application fee to apply, and if you do decide that IUPUI is your top choice, you submit a $100 enrollment deposit that you get back your first semester on campus. So that's some of the nuts and bolts of getting admitted. But now let's talk about something fun, scholarships, free money for college. IUPUI has a lot of different pools of scholarship money. First of all, we do have automatic merit-based scholarships. These are purely automatic based off of your high school grades, and you're notified if you received one in your admission packet. I call these our cherry on top awards. They really reward you for working hard in high school. And these often stack with many other competitive scholarships that you have to apply for on our campus. One example of a competitive scholarship is our Honors College. They have a very early deadline, November 15th of your senior year. That's why I recommend applying by November 1st. And they require a 3.75 GPA, around a 1310 SAT, and around a 20 ACT or to apply to their scholarships. And they offer multiple scholarships ranging from half tuition to full tuition in a year of room and board. So if those numbers sound like you, I highly encourage you to check that out because it could really make a difference in paying for college. Then our programs, the School of Informatics and Computing, we do offer our own scholarships to our students. We have our own automatic scholarship, the Incoming Freshman Award. As long as you have a 3.2 GPA, we'll give you $1,000 a year, and that stacks on pretty much every other award you can receive on campus. Then we do have an inclusive scholarship that requires an application. This is competitive. It has an essay, letter of recommendation. It's meant for underrepresented students, students who really experience a hardship on their path to college, and it can be awarded up to $3,500 per year. So for Illinois students, tuition is about $14,000. That's a significant chunk of the cost of tuition. So let's talk about some other additional resources we have to offer you in our school. Research is a huge thing that we emphasize in the School of Informatics and Computing. I've known freshmen who have gotten research positions within their first semester. We have a big focus on undergraduate research, so it's not just reserved for our graduate students. We do have an SOIC, as we call ourselves, Specific Study Abroad program that goes to Greece each year. We have over a dozen student groups related just to our programs, and we have our own housing option where you can live on a floor with other informatics and computing students. So after watching this presentation today, you may be inclined to get some more information. Luckily, we have a lot of opportunities for you to learn more. We have virtual JAG days this fall. These are our open houses. We're also the Jaguars, that's why they're JAG days. And this is a chance to hear a little bit more from me, but also from our advisors, current students, and then meeting for half an hour with a professor from your area of interest. All of our graduating seniors from our school have to present as something called capstone, present their final projects. This is an amazing event that I learn a ton at every year. Right now it's virtual and we stream it over Twitch, but we invite high school students to watch that each year. It'll give you a sneak preview of what kind of projects you can expect to complete in our programs. We're also offering something new this fall, virtual workshops. These are 4-hour workshops that are completely free for you to sign up for, where you are taking a mini class with one of our professors. So you can take a class on designing a chatbot, artificial intelligence, creature and character design, game design. So if you are still exploring what you want to major in, I highly recommend giving one of these a go, because you're going to have that intimate experience of working with one of our professors who can show you what you'll be learning in our programs. And then I do one-on-one meetings with students all the time. Just send me an email. You can find me pretty easily. Again, I'm Taylor Dooley at IUPUI. You'll find me. And when I meet with you one-on-one, right now I'm doing virtual appointments. I always try and set up a time where you can also meet with one of our current students and then a professor in your area of interest. So we have a ton of digital resources we have created to help you all in these COVID times, especially for our friends and folks who are out of state. It might be hard to travel and see us right now. We have a bunch of stuff we've recorded and put online for you to explore. So on the second tab over here, I have pulled up our YouTube channel. We have uploaded a lot of videos on here that are really cool. So if you want to just kind of browse, see what we have to offer, this is a great place to do it. We have a virtual tour that hopefully I'll show you if I have enough time today. A bunch of videos that our current students have filmed as advice videos for incoming freshmen this current fall. We have videos that are actual examples of student stories and projects. So if you want to see like the cool research and projects and internships our students are doing, this is a wonderful thing to explore. We have our capstone from this past semester that you can watch, all 3.5 hours if you want to, of student projects. We have our alumni spotlights, and then this past summer we did something called virtual sessions, where our faculty gave us an hour of their time and talked about something they teach about, talked about our majors, talked about the future of careers in 3D, talked about game design, the future of Unreal Engine. So if you want to dive deeper, I highly recommend watching these. They are really, really cool. So in the last several minutes that we have, I'm actually going to take you on a virtual tour of our building. I think one of the highlights of our programs are the amazing labs and technology that are completely free for our students to use. So this is about 5 minutes long, and then after this, I'll take any questions that you guys have.
Or SOIC for short. My name is Kate Manzione, and I am the lead undergraduate ambassador at SOIC. Today, I will be showing you around our home on campus, the ICTC building, which everyone calls the IT building. Now, you might be wondering, what is informatics exactly? As the first of its kind in the United States, our school focuses on how people and technology connect. Our students are using tech to improve and change how we live, work, play, and communicate in areas like business, healthcare, entertainment, and more. And this is where it all happens. The IT building sits on the west edge of downtown Indianapolis. It contains all the industry-level labs, equipment, and workspaces our students need to succeed. No need to buy expensive equipment to create your projects. Everything you need as a student can be found in our labs or checked out. All of our labs and equipment can be reserved for you to use for free as an SOIC student. Working on a video for class? The video editing lab, known as VELA, has Mac Pro stations, professional level editing software, and even tools for 3D projection mapping. Our green screen studio contains a full chroma key wall, a controllable lighting rig, and motion capture technology. A trip to Mars or a deep sea dive is only a reservation away. Our audio production lab is one of the quietest spots on campus. This lab includes recording tools, a sound isolation booth, 7.1 surround sound, and Avid Pro Tools production software. The Advanced Visualization Next Lab is an experimental, ever-changing space dedicated to working with the latest in tech. It focuses on virtual and augmented reality, 3D scanning and printing, and immersive visualization using 32 flat screens to create the IQ wall. Did I mention virtual reality and 3D printing? Throughout our lab spaces, you can find Oculus Rifts, HTC Vives, and MakerBot printers. We even have our own 3D printing lab. In this space, there have been incredible innovations in medical simulations and devices, facial prosthetics, and patient training devices with our partners in the IU School of Medicine and the IU School of Dentistry. The Media Arts Research and Learning Arcade, lovingly known as Marla, is a creative incubation hub with Cintiq creative pen displays, high-end game engines such as Unreal 4 and Unity, and 3D modeling software including Maya, ZBrush, and UV Layout. You can find students working on designing magical creatures, creating medical simulations, and animating final projects in Marla. Right next door, Marla Mobile is a facility that emphasizes developing applications and games for mobile platforms. Specialized and experimental software and hardware allows students to develop and test within any mobile environment. The IT building is also where you can find most of your advisors, professors, career services, and our Senior Executive Associate Dean, Dr. Matthew Palicow. Outside of our lab spaces, there are plenty of spots across the building where you can hunker down and work. Anytime class is not in session, feel free to use our numerous Mac labs, Cintiq classrooms, and laptop-ready classrooms to get your work done. Want a scenic view while studying? Take a seat in our glass hallway and take campus and city views. Need a caffeine break? The IT building features an Einstein's Bagels, which is a favorite breakfast and lunch spot for SOIC students, and there are even tables where you can sit outside on nice days. Our building is also located within walking distance of the downtown canal and museum district. There is nothing like a short walk along the canal while taking a study break. I hope you enjoyed your visit to SOIC, and we can't wait to see you in person soon. There is a creative and innovative community here waiting for you. Have any questions? Don't hesitate to reach out. Go Jaguars!
So that is our home on campus, and let me exit out of this. So I believe that I only have a few minutes left. Let me go ahead and check, just see if there's any questions. I don't think there are, but the final thing I'll leave you with is our website. So if you want to get some more information, kind of see all this information I just talked about, just go to soic.iupui.edu. That is where you'll find us. You can see all of our degrees right here. You can explore more about each major. You can see examples of student work that I didn't show you here today, see careers, and then click on each specialization, see career opportunities, where our students have gone, and then view exactly what classes you'll be taking in that program. So it has been a joy to speak with you all today. Again, I'm Taylor Dooley from the School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. And after you close this window, there will be a quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at IACAC.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at IACAC.org. Thank you.